everybody, this is Ron Estrada from Hensley Manufacturing. I'm going to show you how to hook up your Hensley hitch today. As you see, I got my old Sunnybrook and Hensley hitch I've had on there for about 5-6 years now. So no new equipment, nothing special, just me hooking up the trailer like I normally would. And I'll give you some tips along the way how to make this easier. So let's get started. I'll go get the truck and we'll get rolling. Alright, as you can see, I got my hitch bar in place. I just wanted to point out a couple of things while we're doing this. If your hitch bar has been sitting all winter, sometimes it'll get a little rusty, a little dirty. Normally I'll just take a towel and wipe that off, paper towel, and wipe that off. It's not a big deal. Normally a hitch bar does not have trouble once it's a few years old. It's you know, you've worn it down enough where you shouldn't have any trouble hooking up. Always make sure your hitch pin is in place and the cotter pin is there. Yeah, I shouldn't have to say that, but you'd be surprised at stories we hear. Always inspect your receiver when you hook up. Just look around for any cracks in the welding. I mean, it's chipping off as trucks will do under the undercarriage, but that's just the paint on the truck receiver. Just check those welds. Look underneath for any cracking. Check all along the tube here. I got the old tubular style. Some of you should have a square tube on some of the newer trucks, but just check for cracking along the welds and that sort of thing. Just, you know, that's a major catastrophe if that thing lets go of you, but you know, that's just something to keep an eye on. Some of you talk about noise when you're going around corners. That's what that is. There's a lot of slop between most hitch bars and the receiver. The receiver wears over the years. As you can see, the hole on mine is worn. It's elongated, so this doesn't fit in there nice and snug like it did when the truck and the hitch were brand new. So as you go around corners, you might get a little squeaking. Once you put tension in your hitch, it's tight in there, but when you go around corners, it's going to want to let go, and it'll kind of jerk and make noise on you. If that's an issue, you can take and put some grease on the inside of your receiver there. Clean that out, you know, from time to time. Again, if it's been sitting all winter, give it a good cleaning. And if you put grease in there, it allows that hitch bar to slide around, so it's not a sudden you know, clunking in there. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get my truck backed up. My hitch is all ready to go. You might notice my hitch sits at a slight angle. That's because I'm going up on a curve that's at an angle, and one of my tires tends to sit off on the ledge, sit lower than the other end. So I'm actually hooking up with my truck kind of tilted. So though it's not terribly convenient for me, sometimes it's a good way to show you how to hook up at funny angles. You know, most campgrounds, your truck will be sitting up higher than the trailer or lower than the trailer, so it's never a perfect situation. And I'll show you some tricks to make sure you know that doesn't get you messed up when you're hooking up. So let's get into the truck and get going. Okay, I'm ready to start backing in. Now I want you to notice that I do not have my towing mirrors on yet. I don't like hooking up with the towing mirrors, and here's why. I use my side mirrors to hook up. If I can look in my side mirrors and see the side of that trailer, I know I'm coming at an angle. I don't want to come in at an angle. You can get away with a little bit, but with the Hensley, you generally have to be straight onto that hitch box. A lot of guys like to try to use their rear view mirrors, which is fine. The problem with that is you can't really see if you're coming at an angle or not. It's nice to be able to line it up to center your trailer, but if you want to check the angle, always use your side mirrors. So as you can see, I'm at an angle, so I'm going to turn it in the opposite direction that I can see the side on, kind of exaggerate it, then turn it back in and see where I'm at. That's not bad. That should do it. Now, like I said, a lot of folks like to use that rear view mirror to line it up on center. I used to do that, but since I got the Avalanche and I don't have a real good center point on my tailgate anymore like I used to, I learned to use the side view mirrors, and that actually helped me hook up. I found it was easier just to use the side mirrors alone. Because now what I'll do is I see on the front of my Sunnybrook there, I've got those 3 rivets. You probably can't see it in the camera, but I've kind of figured out exactly where my rear of my truck needs to line up on that corner. So what I do is I look at rivet number 2 there, and this doesn't have to be perfect. You got several inches to play with back there, but I'll just line it up on that corner. After you've done this a few times with your trailer, you'll know exactly where it needs to be. And I'll just keep going back. It's good. Actually, I think I'm in the hole the first time. Hear that? That's what we want to hear. So we get out. Check our hookup. Now, I know what I'm going to hear. Okay, I had to pause that. The garbage truck pulled in. No fancy studios for Hensley Manufacturing. We do this right here in our own front yards. Anyway, like I said, I know what I'm going to hear. A lot of you are going to say, Ron, you've been doing this for years. You can hook up the first time every time. But really, my first towing experience with the Hensley was in 1997. And yeah, the first couple of campgrounds, I was having a little difficulty. It took me a while to get hooked up, and you know, I had folks come over to help me, which probably didn't help at all. But I'd say by the third time, I was nailing it every time. Obviously, if you have different level ground and things, or unlevel ground, it takes some practice to figure it out. Again, when we get to the end of this, I'm going to show you how to make life easier for yourself when you go to hook up, and that's involved in the unhooking. But let's hook up first, and we'll continue in that process. So let me shut this off. I'll put it on the tripod, and that way I can continue hooking up. Okay, that gives us a good close-up shot. I'm going to step over the hitch here so you can see what I'm doing. Something I didn't point out, when I hooked up, I already had this at the right level. You know, in a typical campground, your ground's not going to be level, so you're going to adjust the height. If you back up and your hitch bar is up here, you know, obviously you just stop there and go raise the level and continue backing in. Also, I've got the hitch helper down here, which I tell our customers you use it once or twice when you're first learning to hook up, and after that you don't use it too often. But it's nice to have if you're off by half an inch or so. You just take your wrench and turn the whole tongue over, move it over a half an inch or so, or an inch. It'll go all the way up to 3 inches either side. So you don't have to keep getting it out and getting in and out of the truck and trying to back up. So I'm in the hitch. It's pretty easy from this point on. You got your hitch pins. Folks, always keep these in the hitch bar, because the first time you put them in a special place out of the way, you'll never see them again. So I'm ready to hook up. Let me grab my over the center wrench. I'm going to show you something here, and believe it or not, we get this question from new customers. The round portion of your over the center latch fits right into there. On new installs, occasionally we have a customer try it the other way where the screw end is coming into there. Mine is pretty tight, so I got to use a wrench to kind of loosen it up, and that'll fit right into that opening. And you can tighten it from either direction, underneath, over the top. My bar is not quite in all the way. You can get away with this thing sticking out about an inch, and if that happens, you can see what I'm about to do here. Kind of watch how that slides in. I'll go to the side that's showing the biggest gap, and that's the side I will choose to tighten up first. So if I just take that and pull it over, it pulls it the rest of the way. It doesn't take a lot of effort. Actually, I got mine a little too tight. Should probably loosen it up, but I'll just leave it there. Drop in the pin. A lot of folks ask me, what if I lose that pin? That's just a backup device. If you lose it or misplace it, you could actually, well, I'm not going to tell you to tow without it, because the first time I do that, somebody will have this come loose. But you can actually, you know, take a screw and drop it in there with a nut and a bolt, you know, anything. It's just to keep that, if for some reason that's loose, you didn't tighten it up all the way, you know, and it would keep it from popping open. You could actually tow with just one of these in place going down the road. So I'll tighten up the other side. And it should be just a little, I mean, it shouldn't take a lot of effort to do that. That should be just a, you see, I'm not putting a lot of effort into it. It's like, we say it's like a vice grip. You're just closing it over that breakover point. Drop in your safety pin. Naturally, you can hook up your chains. Chain number 2. Your breakaway cable. I'm going to hook mine to the hitch so it's not in the way here. And then your electric cable. Tip on the electric cable. Those get dirty. If you're finding you don't have trailer lights, trailer brakes, anything like that, check these connections both in the truck and in the trailer. These are notorious. You can see I dragged mine on the ground once. And you can actually pry those wings in a little bit too. I don't know if you can see that. There should be some little wings on the female end there. You can take a little screwdriver and kind of pry those in if your connections are getting loose. And you want to take and brush those off occasionally, because you can see they get corrosion on them, and you won't get a good connection. So like I said, anytime you have a trailer electrical problem, check that first. It's usually the culprit. I'll plug that in, make sure I'm not interfering anywhere. And now let's talk about the jacks. These are the standard jacks that we've been selling for years with Hensley. We now have the snap-up brackets that we call them, and we'll talk about that another time. I got a video on that on this same site if you'd like to care to look at it. We have a couple of. We have the wrench that we sell with the Hensley. That's what we typically use to take up the jacks and tighten up the spring bars. If you happen to have one of these, I like this too. Sometimes those come with your stabilizing jacks. And for the guys who want to do as little work as possible, they'll take their cordless drill, just put that socket on the end of it, and take it right up. As you can see, when the trailer hitch is raised, I notice I haven't taken down the tongue yet. You can sit here and turn this with your hand because there's no tension on it. And I'll take that up as far as I can until it gets too tight. I could probably take it up all the way, but just to show you the wrench. And then I'll take the wrench and see how that wants to spin back. There's just not enough tension there yet. I'll just hold it in place. Mine, I have to take all the way to the top because I got a very heavy trailer and a very light truck. For some of you, you'll probably stop. There's marks on the side here. You know, at mark number 1 or mark number 2. And once you find that spot that you're comfortable with, where you like the way the trailer is level and the way it rides, you can mark it with paint. Eventually, you'll see where you come. Just from the wear in the tube there, you'll see where you come back to each time. But try to come back to the same spot each time. It's not critical. You can actually tow without these on. You can, if you took that spring bar out of there on both sides, you could tow without. All that's doing is distributing the weight. That's taking the weight off the back of your truck. It won't be a pleasant tow because you'll be bouncing very hard, but this is not a safety issue. This is just a comfort issue. So we'll tighten that up. Yeah, take mine all the way up, and then we'll do the other side. Let me go ahead and back up so we can finish the operation here. Now this is taking me a while because I'm explaining this step by step. Typically not just me, most people have had a hitch for a long time. They'll get hooked up and on the road in 5 minutes. It's really not that difficult. And that's being careful to check all your connections, walk around, take your chocks out. See, I'm tightening this side up with hand. I know you can't see it through the propane tank there, but I'll get it about halfway with my hand, then I'll take the wrench. Like I said, I prefer that other wrench. Let me go ahead and get that out. I like this. These are the kind that come with the stabilizer jacks, and that one I can. I like it because it's faster. Takes a little more effort, not much. And then once you got that done, you're ready to go ahead and lower the tongue jack. I'm not going to take it all the way up because it's slow and I know you have better things to do. But essentially we're ready to roll now. That's it for hooking up with the Hensley. Don't forget to put on your tow mirrors. Check your trailer brakes. Always check those brakes as soon as you pull out. Hit that manual button. Just as you're coasting out, hit the manual button on your brake controller. Make sure you got trailer brakes. And that's it. Thanks for joining me, and hope you learned something how to hook up your hitch and make your camping trips more enjoyable. Take care.